Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to take the time to make a quick video on the project that I'm currently working on. So if you've gone and watched my NaNoWriMo vlogs for 2023, which is this year, you will know that I am working on a fantasy story that is going to be about 120,000 words, or at least that's what I'm shooting for. But I don't think I ever actually talked much about what the story is about, so I wanted to sit down with you guys and talk about it some. I have decided to call this story Project R. It's named for a major people group that is talked about in the story, but not really seen until the very end. There's one character is from that people group, and she's just kind of a mysterious character that the others have to kind of figure out. So Project R has been something that I've been ruminating about for quite some time. I would say a couple of years, maybe like 4 years, something like that. I started watching and reading the Game of Thrones series while I was in my undergrad, and I really liked the first book and the first season. I really fell in love with the Stark family, and I haven't finished the series yet. I've read all the books, but I took a break for a while, and here lately I've just been getting back to it. I've finished season 7 like last week, and I'll probably finish season 8 either this month or the next month. So I haven't quite finished it yet, but I have heard season 8 is pretty terrible, which is I think why I kind of delayed watching the rest of it. I could have gone and watched it, but I just kind of put it off. I was like, oh, I hear it's awful. But now I do want to go watch it. I want to finish the series and, see what the ending is like for myself. And if George R.R. Martin ever finishes the next book, I will read that one as well. The others were quite long and a little drawn out at times, but I did enjoy reading them. So Project R, it was inspired a lot by the Stark family. I really liked the family dynamic, and I really wish that they really hadn't not all of them, but quite a few of them died in not great ways. And so, I kind of started thinking in my head, because I daydreamed like all the time. I was thinking like, what if the Stark family didn't die? Like how do we create a story where the Stark family is still alive? And so I started thinking about that. I was like, well, maybe they never leave Winterfell. They stay home, and maybe there's not a war. And so that's kind of where the beginnings of the story started. It's not really a fan fiction. It was just inspired by the series because I really like those characters, and some of the personality traits of the characters in my story are similar, but they're definitely not the same character. There's major differences. It was just inspired by the show, and yeah. So it's obviously a fantasy story, and it's still set in like a similar setting. It's kind of medieval. It's not so much based on like the English kind of medieval concept where there's knights and kings and queens and lords. There are those things, but they're called different things. There is still kind of the same idea of chivalry in that respect, but they don't call it chivalry. It's kind of draws inspiration from Breton language, of which the Breton language is itself a mix of other languages because it was conquered by several other nations and kingdoms at different points in history. So it's kind of a mix. And this culture is a little bit of that. So basically the story is a family who lives in the northern region of the kingdom, the most northern region, and the lord of that family has kind of lost influence with the king, and he seeks to get that back. And most of the story has them staying in the north, but they do venture south at some point, which I have yet to get to, but I know that it will be in there. And yeah, they meet a character from this other people group for which we get the name Project R. And it's a mysterious character that kind of throws their world a little bit out of balance and perpetuates the story and kind of just drives that conflict that they start to face. They each have their own conflicts and their own problems that they're dealing with, but this mysterious character kind of drives the main conflict. So I am looking for it to be about 120,000 words, but that's just an estimate. I don't really have, I'm not, if you've listened to the vlogs I've posted so far, you will know that I am more of a discovery writer, which is sometimes called a pantser. I do not outline or that kind of thing, but I do kind of have an idea in my head of certain scenes that will happen and certain things that must happen in order for us to get from the start of the novel to the end of it. So I do know some things that happen. Kind of forgot where I was going with this thought. Let's see. I don't know everything that's going to happen. Why did I bring this up? I was talking about something. Bear, do you know? Bear is sitting in my lap. If you've watched my other videos, you know that I have a cat, Bear, and he is pretty much always with me. Well, he's always around. He likes to be petted a lot. Yep, there's his paws. Do you see? There he is. He always wants attention. Let's see, where was I going with this? So I do discover a lot of the story as I write it, which is why, that's why the 120,000 words is an estimate. I didn't really have a devised structure for the novel when I started writing it. I just kind of knew what I wanted the beginning to be. And even when I was thinking about it, before I started NaNoWriMo, because this is a story that I used for NaNoWriMo, and I wanted to start it with chapter 1. I want to start it from the very beginning. So I was kind of thinking about it a lot in October, which I hear some people call Preptober. I was thinking about it a lot. I took down lots of notes. This time around, I started using Scrivener, so I was using that for a lot of the planning. But I really only had an idea for what the beginning was going to be. And even the beginning that I had originally planned is not where I ended up starting the book. I ended up starting the book something like 13 chapters earlier. So I really added a lot more content because I wanted my audience to feel connected with kind of this northern family that is inspired by the Stark family. I wanted them to feel connected with those characters before this mysterious character showed up. And so that's why I decided to push the beginning backwards, and that kind of became Act 1. So now I kind of have an idea of what Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 are going to be. I've kind of gone with that story structure. I looked at a lot of the different story structures that are out there, but most of them are actually based on the 3-act structure. A lot of them, you can see the 3-act structure in there. And I was like, we'll just go with this because I'm not a planner anyways. I will just stick with this and we'll see what happens. So Act 1 was 50,000 words or thereabout. It may have ended a little earlier at 48,000 words. But it is essentially around the 50,000 mark. And Act 1 is everything before they meet this mysterious character who is my main character. And sometimes I think of her as the main character because originally when I was thinking about the story, the whole thing was going to be from her perspective, kind of a third person, but following over her shoulder perspective. But then when I decided that I need to establish connection with these other characters, the family, this northern family, I needed to establish connection with them. I was like, well, we have to write it from someone else's perspective because it can't be hers because she's not there yet. And that's when I decided that each chapter... Hi, Bear. Are you comfortable? Okay. Each chapter was going to be written from a different character's perspective. So after like several chapters, I started reusing characters. But I think it's... How many is it? It's like 6 perspectives that the story is written from. So you get to see a lot of different people's thoughts and what they're going through. And yeah, all of that was kind of Act 1. And so Act 1 is from the beginning to the meeting of the mysterious character. And Act 2 is going to be their interaction with the mysterious character and her trying to learn how to live in their society with their rules and that sort of thing. And it's going to end with their journey south. And there's going to be some kind of tense thing that happens. She's going to think that someone's going to try and kill somebody, and she's going to try to stop it. But I think that it's not actually going to be an attempt on anyone's life. I think it's just going to end up being a misunderstanding or something like that. But it's going to end with something happening in the South. And then Act 3 will have them journeying back north. That's where Act 3 will start, and it will end... towards the ending, we'll have the defeat of the major villain and kind of the restoring of the ordinary world at the end. I say ordinary world. That terminology is from the hero's journey, which is also called the monomyth. I'm not following that because I just have so many different characters. So it was not helpful to follow that kind of a structure. But yeah, so part of the reason why I wanted to write from different perspectives was because I wanted this story to feel like an epic, because George R. R. Martin's is definitely an epic. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings is an epic. And I wanted this to have that feel where there is a lot of stuff going on. There is stuff all over the world that's happening. I don't think I'm going to get that all over the world feel, but there's going to be a lot of stuff going on between these main characters that you're going to be seeing. And that's the choosing to write a chapter from a different perspective each time was helpful to kind of establish that and make it feel like there's a lot going on. So I don't think it'll actually end up being an epic, but we're going to lean towards that direction, I'll say. But yeah, that's Project R. It's fantasy, medieval, action, and adventure. There's not a hero's journey. This is not about a single character doing a single thing. This is about a group of characters and their life. Yeah, it'll be fun. So check out my vlogs each week for updates on this project, Project R, if you're interested in that. And I'm hoping to finish the first draft around May of 2024. And in the summer, I am going back to school in January for a master's degree. So as long as school doesn't hold me back, in the summer I plan to do some editing and revising. And then maybe in the fall I will start with draft 2. I might need to draft 2, I might not. I have no idea. But yeah, that is the plan. I really want to publish this one, and I'm very excited for it. And I hope that one day you guys get to read it. So stay tuned for updates. And, if you're interested in that kind of story, if you stay around long enough, hopefully you'll get to see when it gets published and go check out a copy. So I will catch you guys on the next video.